Hello viewers, this is Showman again from Oil and Gas Field Quality Control. Today the video will be one of the interview series video, but this is very special. Why? Because today I will be discussing not from the normal engineering questions or subjects. These are some common questions which you can say behavioral interview questions, some tricky questions which you need to answer very positively and after applying your brain. So let us go through these questions. I will give you some suggestions how you should answer these questions. Why do you want to quit your current job? Always frame the answers around things like not learning anything new as product in a saturated state, or unable to switch teams due to internal policies. Never ever talk about bad boss, politics, etc. It will backfire you. We can also talk about your interest in the technology on which the company who is interviewing you is working on. In case your current company is recently acquired by some another bigger company, that you can always talk diplomatically about the uncertainty in the environment in your company, several key people leaving after acquisition, product being discontinued or put in maintenance mode, etc. So your answers should be in a positive direction. Never ever talk about bad boss and politics, as I told you. Why do you want to join us? This is a similar question to the first one. Only difference is for this question, we need to be able to talk about one or two core products created by that company, the tech stack, and being able to express our interest in the same. A sample answer may be, I came to know about your company because of product X and I found it is very interesting concept. I would love to get an opportunity to learn new things by working on this product. Also, use this opportunity to try to get insights into any new features planned for the product in next version. Expressing interest in their technology is 50% job done for behavioral interviews. Most important part, you must sound genuinely passionate when answering this question. Practice rehearsing your line in front of a mirror for this question. It may help. This question is a very common question, so be ready for this. What has been the biggest failure of your career till now? What is the most critical feedback received from your boss in your entire career? Even if there is no such things in reality, for people with say less than 3 years of experience, do craft a reasonable story. Talk about a time when you caused a major feature break or a serious bug missed by you which came through customer, etc. You can add that it caused a lot of chaos and I received very critical feedback from my boss saying I did not expect this mistake from you. Then talk about some corrective actions which you took, like enhancing test automation. This helped in minimizing future recurrences of such nature. Yes, talking about corrective action is the most important part here. If possible, support with the data, like this enhancement in our process helped in preventing at least 20 showstopper bugs from slipping in. So not only your mistake, you have to tell about your corrective actions also. This is very important. What does your typical day at work look like? In this question, you should talk about your routine life. We have daily status meeting as first thing in the morning and then get on to development, debugging work, customer calls, etc. Try to compress in 3 to 4 sentences at max. Again, sound passionate and energetic when answering these questions. Here, the interview may ask a follow-up question. What do you do in your free time at work? Possible answer, I prefer to read about the other components of the product on which I have not worked and try to understand how to debug or troubleshoot those pieces of the code. Or else, my company has a huge repository learning sources. I try to learn new things, etc. in my free time. Basic motive is to showcase being eager to learn. Another flavor of the above question, describe your current role. In this case, give an overview of your current responsibilities, like I am a developer or lead in this project, working in a team of X number of people, I am responsible for X, Y, and Z parts of the project. Be honest about whether you are a hands-on coder or a hybrid of coding and team management or a pure manager. In case you are more on a management side, then be prepared to justify how do you keep your technical skills up to date. Explain your current product or project at a high level. Here we need to be very cautious. No, never disclose any confidential details. Try to explain the product using a high level architectural or block diagram if interviewer allows, or else prepare a crisp 5 to 6 sentence description of the same. What do you like to improve at your current workplace, or what you dislike or hate your current job or workplace? Again, this question is a trap. If you badmouth your current employer or use any words like hate or dislike, it is guaranteed to go against you. Talk about generic things like sometimes code reviews take a long time due to senior developers being busy. Probably that can be streamlined, or say we should invest more in enhancing the test automation infrastructure, which often takes a backseat due to the various constraints. Basically, try to say around technical things and avoid talking about the poor cafeteria or no free cab pickup drop services, etc. The motive is to show your passion towards work related things and not focus on the secondary things like cafeteria or cabs or playgrounds, etc. Are you happy with your current job? This is also a big trap. If you talk about only the goody positive things, then this question will be immediately followed by, if you like your job, then why are you looking around for another job? So answer it diplomatically. Talk about good things like I have gotten to learn a lot. If by any chance your current job is your first job, then definitely talk about things like I learned the ways of working in industry in this job, and hence this job will always be special for me, etc., etc. Then talk about the negatives, again in a polished way. Now the product has really evolved, and hence there is not much productive work to do other than the customer support and maintenance, etc. Or else say that I have worked for a really long time on a same technology stack and want to expand my breadth by getting a chance to work on another technologies. You may also borrow few points listed in why do you want to quit your current job questions I discussed just now. What would you react if you get to know that your boss is younger than you or has less years of experience than you? This one is a make or break cultural fit question. Always answer diplomatically, saying that age on years, etc. irrelevant for me. What matters for me is what can I learn from someone irrespective of whether that person is junior or senior to me. I can learn a few things from my boss for sure. And if it turns out that I am more experienced or older than my boss, then I am sure I can be valuable resources for my boss in terms of helping out with critical decision making. My experience will definitely be an asset for my boss in such cases. Throw in example of successful sports team of any sport which you like. There will be several examples where the captain of a successful sports team is younger than a senior important veteran player of the team. If you can give that type of analogy, your answer will sound more genuine and natural. What would you do if you find your senior or boss doing something unethical or violating a company policy, always talk about that you would gently point out that person directly and request that person to follow the correct process. In case of violations continue, then I would like to know about the violation reporting policy of your company. Here you can turn around the interview by cross-questioning your interviewer. By the way, can you give me a brief insight into policy violation reporting mechanism which exist in this company? What has been your ideal or best boss? Talk about any boss who has a strong decision maker, always stood by the team and openly praised contributions by team members and also clearly guided the team members towards the career growth. Yes, such bosses are very rare in real life, but even you did not have one such boss in real life, do talk along these lines. Nobody is going to conduct an inquiry about whether you really had a boss who had these qualities or not. Just be careful not to take any person's name while talking about these qualities. If explicitly asked, just politely say that I want to respect the privacy of that person. Hence, won't take any names. You can talk like, yes, I have been very fortunate to work under one or two such bosses earlier in my career. I learned a lot from him, her, or them. I always found that person to be always supportive to the team, and that person was only person who actually told me the difference between a software engineer, senior software engineer in clear measurable terms, etc., etc. Describe the worst boss you have ever worked under. Never, never, ever start describing that one bad boss you may have encountered. Be very diplomatic here. One slip of tongue in answering this one and you are already rejected as being a poor cultural fit. You can always say something like this and create a reasonable story like this. Well, nobody is perfect. Everyone is good in some things and not so good in other things. Regarding my bosses, I am not able to think anyone who can be labeled as worst as such. I learned something or other from every boss I worked under. If I have to explicitly describe the shortcomings of any particular boss, then I will not exactly call it a shortcoming, but I feel it was his extraordinary passion towards his work. I had a boss who often used to get so carried away in work when working with us in brainstorming or in discussion sessions that we would often end up getting very delayed for lunch. Initially, I found it is irritating, but with passage of time, I realized he was a person of extreme dedication and passion towards his work. The more I worked with him, the more I learned from him. After coming to this lunchtime issue, I hesitatingly brought up this point once with him privately, and he happily agreed to have working lunch in such cases. So, in a nutshell, there are no bad bosses. It is just that their way of working or thinking is drastically different from ours. Prepare 2-3 stories of this type, just in case interviewers adds a follow-up like any other irritating bosses you worked under. So the whole idea is to mold a highly negative conversation towards a positive direction. What is your greatest weakness? No. Please do not talk about being impatient or pushing your team hard, etc., etc. These are very well-known answers. Talk about something more genuine and possibly not related to work. I'm not so good at remembering the road directions, or maybe people whose first or second language is not English may feel that occasionally I speak too fast. But be prepared to answer, what are you doing to overcome this weakness? Possibly answers to above examples may be, I am trying to get better at remembering road direction by observing the landmarks more closely when I pass through any road, or I consciously try to speak at a slower pace when interacting with people whose first or second language may not be English. I'm actually trying to learn more about different cultures across the globe to be sensitive to their requirement. If you talk about culture, be prepared to talk about few interesting facts about the culture of few countries. Example, using left hand to give or take something in Asian countries may be considered offensive. Tipping is not considered to be good in some countries, but in natural expectation in some other countries, etc. Being culturally sensitive is very, very important for working in an MNC. Why should we hire you? Or what do you think you are a good fit for this role or job? Again, a cliche question. Just talk about your passion for the role. Talk about how your skills are perfect match for this role. Definitely do highlight and not so common achievements of yours. Maybe you have been a slate level player, or maybe appeared on a TV show. Use it to market your people skill. Maybe you won multiple scholarships in your career. And at the end, say, I strongly believe these qualities of mine make me a worthy candidate for this role. Mark the wording worthy, not perfect. Be very cautious as not to sound arrogant. Thanks a lot. We discussed few tricky questions today. Hope you gained some knowledge. If you like my video, don't forget to share and subscribe and hit the like button. Signing off, Showman.